Welcome in to another edition of the Right Side of Campus. It is Monday, October 14th, 2019. It's 1 o'clock East, 10 o'clock on the West Coast. We're here live breaking down the weekend in sports, getting you ready for a little Monday Night Football tonight. Packers and Lions in what should be a pretty good game. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we have a good game all of a sudden. It feels like we've had no good Monday night game in a long time. So we'll break it down, get after all of it. Got some cold, hard facts presented by Big Man on Campus to Donnie Rightside. We'll see where Donnie's sitting after 6 weeks in the NFL, what he thinks about certain teams and certain futures and things like that. We'll get into that. And another future for me in college basketball you need to be getting on, so we'll get into that as well. Donnie, it's Monday. How you doing?
Monday's the best day of the week. I love it.
You say that on Friday too, Donnie.
But no, for actual like sporting, like if I had a choice between Friday and Monday, Friday I'm excited for, but Monday you get to like rip and you get to be like, what the hell just happened or what we watched over the weekend? It's always not armchair quarterback's the most fun day of the week for me, but Friday the most exciting, Jeff. Mondays, that's where we get some good content going here. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. It's a great day. You also got a couple games to talk about. We'll relive what we saw over the weekend. Donnie, before we get into that, I do kind of want to mention something. Last night, Sunday nights usually watch a movie because, the football games generally suck, and that one did. I was watching American Sniper last night.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
What a great movie that is.
Sure.
What a heroic. I got to tell you, I don't talk much about the military. I was never in it. Obviously, it's not something I know anything about, but I am fascinated by people that are in the military and what they do.
Well, American Sniper was the Bradley Cooper movie, right?
Correct. It's a true story about
Was that the first time you saw it?
No, I'd seen it before, but I hadn't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
What a unbelievable story. I tell you what, Donnie, anytime I hear that taps playing, I get a little sad. I mean, that is. Look, to anyone that served in the military, I owe you my life. You're more of a man than I'll ever be. I try to be a man every day, but you're more of a man than I'll ever be. And to anyone that served and needs help or needs anything, reach out to me. I'll do anything I can for you. Just a heroic movie, Donnie. It's a shame that through 4 tours of duty and being one of the great soldiers this country's ever seen, as far as the amount of sniping he did and the amount of things that he did, he dies on American soil by some nut job. And, it really is a testament of what we need to do as a country to help these people when they come back from the military. These are people that are incredibly, damaged individuals in the mind. We have to help these people. What a sad movie. What a sad story. Yeah, no,
it also plays with, you can equate it to 2 different scenarios, but really coming back on the same thing, Jeff, because I know, being an advocate on what we think needed to go forward to, because people do make mistakes in life. I'm going to tie this in. When you go across seas and you do like 3 or 4 tours, you're already detached from reality. Coming back and doing like a desk job, some of them can assimilate to that, but for the far majority of them, you see way too many things over there. And when you get discharged from the military, stepping back into a regular life is sometimes really hard to do. And we saw it in that movie. It's the same way. Like, hey, look, you can't agree with what some people did, like a criminal, but you go behind bars for 10, 15, 20 years and you get released. It's almost the same type of struggle coming back into society. I mean, it's 2 different completely wavelengths, but reassimilating back into society that you're really not used to anymore.
Totally agree. Yeah. I mean, you see, you're literally, I mean, let's call it a spade for spade. When you go to the military and you go to Iraq, you go to those places, I mean, you're killing people. Okay. Your life is, it's gory. There's a lot of things you see that you don't want to see again. And what a sad movie. Bless that guy's family, and what a great hero he was. All right, let's get into also, Donnie, you're not going to hear anything happy Christopher Columbus from me. Why we celebrate Christopher Columbus, I have no idea.
I'm going down the protest right now, Jeff, against the, it's like The Sopranos.
Del Red Clay. Look, I mean, I'm not going to get into Christopher Columbus. I mean, he was a murdering person, but we're not going to get into that. If you celebrate it, good for you. I won't be celebrating it. Do you celebrate Christopher Columbus there, Donnie?
No, but I do celebrate Meucci because he was the original one who found the phone.
Oh, Antonio Meucci, correct. There were also a lot of, John Cabot was Italian. He found Canada, I believe. But again, we want to look deeper into the people and what they did when they got here and who they killed when they came here. All right, let's get into sports. That's why we're here. Thanks to everyone for checking out the show. Please hit the like button and retweet the show on Twitter. I don't see enough retweets. If you're retweeting the show, I'll love you forever. And you want to be on my good side. It's always good to be on my good side.
I like the bad side better, Jeff, to be honest.
I agree. Yeah. Please hit the retweet button. Get this show out to people that maybe don't know it's on. Bank employees like Columbus Day. Sure. I mean,
so do federal workers. Yeah. Whoever is off loves it. Sure they do. They don't care what they're all for.
You know what I don't understand about federal workers, though, Donnie, that have off today? So, like, if you work at, like, a federal prison, you're a federal employee, right?
Yeah, but it's the same thing as like cops can't strike. You know, there's certain outlying rules. Like if you're, technically work for the FAA, you're like, hey, national holiday, we don't have to fly the planes.
Nobody's here. Nobody's here. Everyone just gets to fly.
Yes.
With no oversight.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into some games and some sports. We'll start with some morning headlines, Donnie. We start out actually in baseball. 2 baseball stories here. One of these over the weekend. This was a story out of Philadelphia. It didn't get a ton of national news, but, Donnie, it really kind of shows us all what modern journalism is like now and what it's not like. I miss the days, Donnie, and I watch a lot of English TV, so I see a lot of, how these pundits are over there compared to here, and it's actually quite refreshing. People are held accountable over there for their mistakes. If they're not good, they're going to be called out for it. And over the weekend, Donnie, actually on Friday, there was a press conference, kind of a state of the Phillies press conference. They had just fired Gabe Kapler. The question was, what's next and where does this team go now? And John Middleton was there. Andy McPhail was there and Matt Klentak were there, all the upper management and obviously the owner of the team. And Donnie, in Howard Eskin fashion, for anyone that doesn't know who Howard Eskin is, Howard Eskin's basically the Stephen A. Smith of Philadelphia. I mean, he's what would you kind of classify him as? A radio host? He's a long time
sports media mogul in Philadelphia. Jeff.
Sure.
Everything.
Keep in mind, though, Howard has a history of very insensitive comments. He says a lot of things that I don't necessarily deem, arrogant or rude. But, I mean, Donnie, he's the kind of guy that, like, if a black caller calls in, he'll call them, like, dog. If an Italian caller calls in, he'll call him cuz. If if he has a woman calling, he'll mention going to get dinner ready. He can be.
Yeah, I love him. I love him. I've always loved him.
He's very old school. I'm a fan of his. He's kind of like the Mike Francesa, Donnie, Philadelphia. Yeah. That's what Howard is. I remember going to 60 games many a year ago, and my father and I listened to Howard Eskins. And even my dad liked Eskin, even though my dad's not a big sports guy. But Eskin is one of these guys that still asks the questions that you need to ask, Donnie. And one of the questions he asked, it was the first question, was if Gabe Kapler was to blame for the Phillies, why are the 2 GMs still there? And he basically,
the president, Andy McPhail. Basically, the question was for Andy McPhail, the president of the organization, and Matt Klentak, the GM, in front of their face, asking the owner. Go ahead.
Basically saying, if Gabe was to blame, why aren't these 2 with him being fired? As
they hired him.
Correct. Yeah. And Middleton had no idea what to say. Middleton was just, backtracking. But he makes a very good point, Donnie. Why are these 2 still around? They were the ones that, didn't make the right personnel moves. These were the guys that brought in Gabe Kapler. And again, a 2-part question, Donnie. Where do the Phillies go from here?
First of all, it's hard for me to say. And the reason I like to say it, because I know it's an analytical day and age, but I like owners. It's hard that, like, we laugh at Jerry Jones. I understand that. We laugh at a lot of things, but I would rather have a hands-on owner than the 8-9 owners that the Phillies had before Middleton actually took control, where everybody was in the background. Nobody knew any of them were, so the scapegoat was just the guy you saw in front of the camera. I actually like an owner like this, but to be honest, if I was the owner and I was unhappy with it and I know what's going on, I clean the entire house out, because if you hired a manager in Gabe Kapler, and every year it seems like I'm the guy spending money. Like, it wasn't Matt Klentak who laid out $330 million for Bryce Harper and the rest of the guys that they brought in this year. If I'm spending my hard-earned money, it better go to the right direction. And if I see regression and we're built to make the playoffs and I'm spending a lot of money, I clean house. That's what I do.
Yeah, I think you have to clean house. I totally agree with you.
Jeff, by the way, 8 years. It's even me, diehard Phillies fan. Jeff, they haven't had a winning record in 8 years in a top 5 market. Clean it.
Yeah, it's almost like the Phillies are still in this, oh, well, we won the World Series. That was 10 years ago, okay? This is a long way away from those teams. And, I really hope they go out and they make the right managerial decision. I'll tell you, for my – if it was my money, Donnie, I'm going towards Mike Scioscia, Joe Girardi.
Old school. You need the reversal.
It's funny, Donnie.
Like when you do baseball games or you do any sport, isn't it always the hard ass? Then you fire the hard ass, and what do you hire? The players coach, right? And then when you fire the players coach, you get the hard ass. Yes.
I saw reports about Dusty Baker. What is that all about?
Yeah, actually, I think Dusty is way past his time. But I would rather have Dusty Baker than Joe Madden any day of the week, Jeff. How about that?
Let me ask you, Donnie. Some sad news out of L.A. Over the weekend. Some really damning information about Tyler Skaggs, Donnie.
We knew. Did we not know?
Correct. For anyone that doesn't know, Tyler Skaggs died back in July. A lot of people were concerned about what it had been from, and obviously, according to the medical examiner, the autopsy reported that he died after choking on his own vomit while under the influence of opiates and alcohol, particularly oxycodone, which is it's a more expensive version of heroin, basically. Exactly. And during this it was reported that over the weekend, I guess someone in the team that told DEA investigators that he first mentioned Skaggs' use to, basically the guy that runs their baseball stuff. I don't know, the communications director. But I guess he was getting this stuff directly from a team employee, Donnie, and that possibly there are other Angels players that are involved with, abusing painkillers.
Yeah, big surprise in pro sports, right? This is the account and I hate to be a hard ass in this situation, but this is always accountability to yourself. You're a grown athlete. It's up to you to manage your pain, and they're going to give you stuff like that. You can abuse it all you want, and you can blame everybody, but it's the personal use. And originally when it came out, right, we all know how everything works, Jeff. You know how it works, like, on the streets. If somebody gets murdered or something happens, they release everything right away when they know something is up and they know exactly what it is. The single fact that they found and nobody spoke on it, you knew immediately what it was.
You're right. I will say this, though. When it's a federal case and there's some sort of federal entity involved, generally you're not going to have the info right away. And generally, Donnie, if the feds raid your house right now and find drugs, it will never be in the paper. I mean, likely not. I mean, usually the feds will do raids and you won't even know they did them. I hear you, though. We kind of knew right away that
it was more about being nice. Like, they all liked Tyler Skaggs. He wasn't doing anything to anybody else. He was, self-enabling as it was. And I thought, out of respect for the family, because did anybody laugh at the timeline when it originally came out? We're not going to know till the early weeks of October. Why? Because baseball season's done, and you won't be talking about the Angels anymore.
I mean, I think we all knew. I mean, Tyler Skaggs, a young guy. I mean, maybe he was partying here. Listen, the whole painkiller thing, we all know what, Donnie, abusing painkillers gets you. It generally gets you strung out on heroin. And again, I mean, this is a sad story. Obviously, this is why you don't mix opiates with alcohol and partying and all sorts of crazy stuff. Either way, it's a tragedy. But Donnie, the reason I brought this up is this might mean that Joe Madden's back. I mean, they had considered he'd be the likely candidate in L.A. This might turn him off. Does that mean maybe Philadelphia is back in play for Joe Madden? I got to tell you, I think they're going to go after Joe Madden. I have a weird feeling.
Money. The Phillies have so much money where Middleton would just throw it, and it's such an analytical thing where I joke about this all the time, Jeff. Like, Andy McPhail, who's the older guy, but Matt Klentak's the young, pocket protector guy. When he goes home at night, like, he didn't put pictures of Jordan on his wall. Like, he put pictures like Joe Madden and Billy Beane and stuff like that. The A's GMs. It would be like his dream hire, and they probably would have a press conference for 5 hours long, and he would just be enamored by Joe Madden being the manager. I hope it doesn't happen. It's not me. Honest to God, Jeff, if I put you in the dugout for the New York Yankees tomorrow night, as long as you didn't put like the catcher in the pitch, it's autopilot. What's the big deal? I don't understand it. I agree.
Football coming up. We'll get to all the games yesterday. We'll get to tonight's game. Before we do that, though, Donnie, last night, good game late night in the Houston. Listen, the 11th inning was wild. Okay, Yankees had a couple guys on. They had some opportunities to get the runner in. Gary Sanchez had a long at bat against Josh James. Donnie, I don't know if you saw this. A horrific whiff by Gary Sanchez somehow was called a foul ball. I'm a Yankee guy. I was liking seeing that, but a horrific call. I don't know how you got that wrong. And then they get out of the inning. Carlos Correa, first pitch. I actually thought it was a replay, Donnie. I didn't think it was live. And first pitch, see ya. Carlos Correa walks it off. We're tied 1-1. That series will get going tomorrow again in New York. Tonight, you got Cardinals, Nationals. I will say, I like Jack Flaherty. I've mentioned that. I would rock with him here. This is a must-win, obviously, for St. Louis. Donnie, any comments as we round up baseball?
Yes, I do baseball. It's the same thing that takes us back to last week, Jeff. And I know you're a Yankees fan, so of course you're going to be engaged in this. I got to tell you, Jeff, I watched football nonstop yesterday. You know, I had a late night Saturday night, so I fell asleep real early last night. I woke up, and you know what the first thing I checked on? I was like, let me see what the score was in the Pittsburgh Steelers game. Check that out. Then I went to ESPN homepage, just do a tap through an app, and I saw the base. Oh, look at that. Houston won. Jeff, I had no idea. So usually I have an idea baseball game's at 4 o'clock. I had no idea a baseball game even was supposed to be played yesterday.
It was actually quite a good game.
Yeah. I it looks like it. Yeah. Extra innings, 3-2, sure.
I watched probably the last 3 or 4 innings. It was good stuff. All right, Donnie, before we get into NFL, we're back. I'm back. I did it last year, and I'm going to do it this year. You're with me now. We got a sponsor for the show. Okay, I've always had good experiences with MyBookie. Everybody has bad experiences with certain things. We all deal with things that, Donnie, you might like Coke and I might not. MyBookie's always been a great avenue for me to sports bet on, and I recommend you do the same. By listening to the show, we ask you, go support the sponsor, MyBookie. I'm going to put the promo code up here. If you're looking for a new book, you're looking to add one, or just looking to get started, MyBookie has you covered. If you go now, enter the promo code BMOC when you open your account, you get yourself a 100% deposit bonus. It's a good way to get another book added to your arsenal, Donnie. How important, Donnie, is it to have multiple books?
No, it's always important. We talk about multiple lines, but even the more important thing, Jeff, after a bad week like I had on Sunday where I did not win in the NFL, 100% bonus. Seems like a good deal to me today.
It is. Now, I want to make this clear, guys. Make sure you go and read all the rollover requirement information. Don't just blindly get a book, think that you can win a bet, take the money out, and there's not going to be any repercussions.
Long-term people.
Yes, you got to read the rules. Again, though, MyBookie has everything from rugby to soccer to baseball to the NFL. Go check it out now. You can get money for referring your friends. I directly deal with them. I've never had a problem with them. I've always gotten paid. No issue. Go check out MyBookie now, mybookie.ag. Use promo code BMOC. Get yourself a deposit bonus. I know many of you have used it in the past. All right, let's get in, Donnie. Let's go to the NFL. And I want to start out with a rant. Can I do that?
Go.
I'm gonna start out with a rant here because I got to tell you something. I am just disgusted today. I'm tired of the bullshit papering over the cracks with this fucking team. I'm tired of it, Donnie. I'm tired of watching year after fucking year of Bradley Fletcher and
Terry Williams,
and Nnamdi Asomugha and Sidney Jones. I'm sick of it, Donnie. I'm sick of the crap. I'm sick of since Sheldon Brown and Lito Shepherd left. You had one good corner, Asante Samuel, and that's it. At what point is this team going to stop papering over the cracks and go out and sign a fucking real corner? And Donnie, here's my issue now. The Denver Broncos are starting to play pretty good football. They're not going to trade Chris Harris.
Or Vaughn.
Correct. Jalen Ramsey, I know that we think he's going to get traded. Doesn't seem like the Jags are budging very much there. I know that you're not going to go out and get maybe a Harris or a guy like that. But listen, Artie Burns would be a major upgrade. Tremaine Johnson would be a major upgrade. You're not going to have to give up a ton to get guys like that. I get you can't go out and make a big deal maybe right away. But to think Jalen Mills and Ronald Darby are going to be your knights in shining armor coming back and saving this team, it is absolutely pathetic. And for a fan of this team, yesterday was embarrassing. They probably should have given up 40-plus points. At what point, Donnie, do we say enough is enough with this team? I mean, this is not good enough from the corner position. It just isn't.
No, it's a blind spot that the Eagles had for quite a long time, and you saw it rear its ugly head. You might want to thought, which with the angle I like to play on the game yesterday, was the Eagles' pass rush, Jeff, would be able to accompany and help the secondary out. And, Fletcher Cox, I don't think has a sack yet this year, so obviously that didn't come to fruition. Kirk Cousins and the play calling were really good for the Vikings yesterday, but the cornerback position, when you came into the season as the Philadelphia Eagles, Jeff, you said, all right, solid O-line. Oh, we got our wide receivers. Okay, we addressed that. Addressed running back. Carson Wentz should be healthy this year. We're ready to go. Defensive line, all right, down maybe a couple guys, but we'll get Malik Jackson. We'll keep Timmy Jernigan, sign him again as a free agent. We should be able to go to battle. And we do lose Jordan Hicks at linebacker. But you know what? We're going to surround them. Nigel Bradham. We'll fill in a couple guys at linebacker. We should be fine. And at safety, we'll be okay. Oh, boy, but we're really going to cross our fingers right now, Jeff, and just be like, you know what? I really hope that the cornerbacks stay healthy and play well. Was coming into the season, if you circled one element on the Eagles that you wish you had better, it was cornerback. No surprise, man.
I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. And I'll tell you another thing. They have other issues, okay? Their pass rush isn't good enough. I mean, it hasn't been. Fletcher Cox is one of the most overrated players in the NFL. The linebackers, shout out to Zach Brown, who can't keep his fucking mouth shut. No offense, but who the hell is Zach Brown? And where does he get off talking like this? And then you find out the coach this morning says, we're not going to lose to Dallas. Shut the hell up, Doug. You've had a terrible year. Doug's been brutal. He's been horrific. That fake punt was field goal was pathetic. Just disgusting coaching yesterday from Doug Peterson. I'm sick of this team not ever being prepared. I know I knocked Jim Schwartz a lot, but I'm starting to come to the realization I got to feel bad for the guy. I mean, that fucking secondary is your secondary.
Yeah, and let me reiterate this. It's the first drive of the football game. Now, granted, there was a 3rd and 13 play that the Vikings converted, but it was a great play design, an absolute dime by Cousins, and a nice catch. I believe Adam Thielen made it over the middle. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Just tip your cap. The defense was there, but the play was better from the quarterback and the wide receiver. But it was 2nd and goal from like the 7-yard line. I'm like, all right, let's see if you can hold him to a field goal here. Jeff, explain to me. I know you didn't play football necessarily, but explain to me, if you are a cornerback, how you get double moved on the goal line.
I have no idea. I asked Ryan the same thing. We were watching a game yesterday.
He got double moved on the goal line.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. But Donnie, I got to be honest. I don't have any reason to think. Why wouldn't he? You drafted this guy with a torn ACL. Just think about that.
It's Achilles, Jeff. Achilles. Get it right.
Whatever.
Achilles
Same
is worse.
thing.
No, it's worse.
I mean, what? Donnie, let's think about who they passed on to take Sidney Jones.
Well, before we even get into that, forget about like even passed on Jeff, but it was known that the Vikings wanted a running back. So did you. You sat ahead of the Vikings. The Vikings traded up ahead of you and got Dalvin Cook.
Right, who you probably should have got. Let's take a look at some notables, Donnie, drafted after Sidney Jones. As other players that you probably could use. Joe Mixon, wouldn't mind having him, even though he's kind of a shithead. Juju Smith-Schuster, he was drafted way after. Alvin Kamara, Cooper Kupp. I mean, what about let's look at some corners. Do we have any corners that were drafted? Fabian Moreau, he's a pretty good corner. Shaquille Griffin, pretty good corner. Kenny Golladay, pretty good wide receiver. I mean, Donnie, in that draft, they drafted Russell Douglas and Sidney Jones. Jesus. Awful. Sick of it, tired of it. And to think that these shitheads are going to come in and fix it. I mean, did anyone watch Ronald Darby this year? By the way, Donnie, they think he's the best corner they have.
He probably is, but he can't play.
Jesus. Ski Prophet, what's up? Guan White, all the guys in here watching. Thanks for watching. Ski Prophet, Donnie, a little programming note. We'll be doing a show here with me. Starting next week, next Tuesday. Ski Prophet's going to join me every day to talk about the NBA. We'll give out our favorite picks, give some free plays out, and have some fun. Ski Prophet, one of the good NBA cappers out there, him and I will join forces and hopefully give you all some winners every day. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you never miss it. It'll be every day. We don't need a show named on it. It's just going to be called NBA Picks with Ski Profit and Big Men on Campus.
Oh, come on, man. You got to dime up. Come on, man.
That name shit's
Come
stupid.
on.
No, we don't need a name.
Oh.
Let's keep it moving, Donnie. We got other stuff to talk about. I could talk about the Philadelphia Eagles all day. The Browns, they are who we thought they were. Listen, I got to tell you, I actually had the Browns. I know you did as well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was a great spot for them. The public was all over the Seahawks. The Browns, I thought there was a little recency bias that maybe they're a little bit better than people think. They obviously have a great group of receivers, and you have a quarterback that can move the football. But, I mean, Donnie, how big of a mistake was Freddie Kitchens? I mean, it's quite amazing. The fact that this is no more evident of what Freddie Kitchens is, Donnie. So when they scored that last touchdown, the Browns, they challenged the ball on the goal line, which is a terrible challenge. It never would have won. And they then lost the challenge that they could have used on the drive where the Seahawks got a first down, where it was probably pretty clear DK Metcalf didn't complete the process of a catch. Could have gotten overturned. They could have got the ball back. That's what Freddie Kitchens is. He's a nincompoop. He's an imbecile. And he could be, Donnie, when it's all said and done, the worst coach in the NFL. I mean, seriously, how dumb is this guy? But the Browns' defense stinks. Baker Mayfield is, like I told you, all overrated. And he's a pretty hateable guy. Browns stink.
Yeah, looking back at that game, and again, I'll say it for the millionth time, if Russell Wilson tomorrow said, you know what, I'm not playing again until I get $70 million a year, the Seahawks should pay him, and that's still an understatement. Every big play you need to make on third down, he makes it every single time. Doesn't matter what the score is. Now, having said that, I was on the Browns, so I'm matching up saying, Seattle's a better team. I'm going to buck the trend of, extra time rest off. That's going to help. It's one of those games you're going to circle the wagons for. So I'm watching it on the Fire Stick, and I'm enjoying it first half. I'm saying, you know what? This was 100% the right way. Chubb was absolutely outrageous in the first half. There was no way they could slow him down. The play action was working. If it's not for Odell Beckham messing around in the first half and not catching passes, it could have been worse. But the game comes down. Forget about the second half at all, Jeff. The game comes down to at the end of the half. You have the football. Even after you idiots got a punt blocked on yourself, the defense rises up and holds them to a field goal. So it's what is I think it was 20 to 12 at the time. So you're saying, all right, you're up a touchdown here, minimum. You have a beautiful drive. You get down in the red zone at the 2-minute warning, with Seattle, I believe, had maybe one timeout left at that time. So Seattle gets the ball in the second half. You already know that. The only thing you want to do, Jeff, as crazy as it sounds, I didn't even want to, like, the next play. Touchdown would have been great with like 1:40 on the clock. You knew Seattle was going to put points up on the board. The only thing I wanted to do was hand it to Nick Chubb 3 times. If he gets a first down, then you can go for the touchdown. It doesn't matter what the clock is. Hand it off 3 times, no timeouts, kick a field goal to go up double digits, and Seattle doesn't have any time left to do anything on offense, and you head to the half. And what do? Baker Mayfield on 2nd down and 8 throws into triple coverage, and it gets tipped and intercepted. And I almost lost my mind, because you're right. This gets back to Freddie Kitchens saying, game, clock, score. That's all you need to do. If I go into the half here up double digits, we got this. And instead, Jeff, you go up 2 points, and you saw the way it played out in the second half. Now, you could say, hey, we didn't get it on 4th down. They had the lead with 8 minutes to go and needed a stop twice in that football game and got beat like Swiss cheese on the finale of that game. And shout out to Baker Mayfield and that Cleveland offense. You know what they said, Jeff? Hey, Duke Johnson, you ain't shit, man. We don't need you. Let's ship you out. And let's get this clown in the backfield who drops the pass that Duke Johnson would have caught and converted for a first down, and you lost. How about that?
Also, listen, I hate to say it, but you have Jarvis Landry, Antonio Callaway, and Odell Beckham as your receivers, and a pretty good tight end in Seals Jones, Donnie. What the fuck are you throwing to that Hilliard fuck at the end of the game? What the hell are you even doing?
Yep.
What are you doing that for?
Yep. Turnovers all game long at the worst possible moments. You're ready to clinch the football game. You can't do it. And by the way, this maybe it would have been big, because there was a first down play where Russell Wilson was knocked out of the pocket, and they tack him from the backside, and the guy grabs him by his jersey, but by like under the nameplate, and they called a horse collar roughing the passer tackle on an incomplete pass that gave Seattle the ball, like 1st and 10 at the 50. Right then and there, I'm like, they're scoring on this drive, no question about it.
Just pathetic. This is another game, Donnie. I've had 3 or 4 games this year where teams have been up 2+ touchdowns in the first half and blow it and lose.
Yeah.
This isn't the first time this has happened.
No, I want to just to double down on that point there. As a gambler, we understand wins and losses. And sometimes you got to be like, I missed a play. And watching the games yesterday, I'm like, you know what, Jeff? I really missed on the Philadelphia Eagles. So then you're saying, there's always the witching hour that comes in, as we like to laugh about. But all of a sudden, the Eagles getting 3.5 are right back in the ballgame with a chance to tie it heading down in the third quarter. I'm like, oh, my God, I might pull this out. Of course I didn't pull that out. And then you have the Cleveland Browns game where you're up 14 points at home, getting points. They're the ones that you say, you know what, nailed that. That's the game I'm supposed to win, and end up losing that game. Those hurt more than anything, man.
Donnie, it's pretty amazing. One thing I noticed, and before I get to that, I want to mention, it's kind of something I want you all look out for. By the way, Pete Carroll's the best coach in the NFL.
He's a good one. Yeah, he's good.
He's terrific. What he's done as a coach is amazing. I would take him on my team. I'd pay millions of dollars for him on my team. But, Donnie, one thing I'm noticing, I talked about red zone scoring percentage, touchdowns only. I don't care about field goals.
Yes.
It's amazing how some of these really good football teams have struggled in the red zone. You look at in 2018, listen to some of these percentages and what they are now for these teams this year. Kansas City, 73% of the time they scored a touchdown last year in the red zone.
Yeah.
This year, 52.2% of the time. New England, 63%. They're down to 50. The LA Chargers, 64.5%. They're down to 50. New Orleans, 68.42. They're down to 44. Pittsburgh, 73.45. They're down to 40%. It's amazing how some of these teams have just struggled that hadn't struggled in the past in the red zone. The red zone has been a mess for certain teams, Donnie, and certain really good teams. Cleveland's also been a team that's at the top of the fucking heap in the red zone. They have been horrific.
What's the commonality of the changes, do you think, Jeff, over the past even couple years now? Why do you think that would possibly be?
I think of, penalties obviously hurt. You look at personnel. I think that obviously hurts. New England losing certain targets. Kansas City lost certain targets. What do you think? It's penalties? It's got to be penalties.
It's not penalties.
Play calling?
It's the play calling, but it's the functionality of a pass-first offense now throughout the NFL, where the old-school mentality of just get down and dirty. Because there was a play yesterday, Jeff, even in the Cleveland game, where they didn't score the touchdown, which, on the Freddie Kitchens, I'm going to challenge it. And my guy has a clear touchdown run, but we're just going to, challenge the play, and the play gets stopped, and they run the same thing again. But that wasn't even the issue, Jeff. The issue are plays like this. Nick Chubb is a beast. If I have the ball at 1st and goal from the 4-yard line, I bring in my 12 personnel. If you guys don't know, that's double tight end sets, the big formation. And I run 4 times off tackle and I don't get in. I live with it. Then you get the ball at the 1-yard line or whatever it is. But the plays that really get on my nerves, and I saw it a couple times yesterday. Look, I know Odell Beckham, who dropped 16 passes yesterday, but did have his one incredible play that he does, and that seems to get more of the highlights. You're on the 1-yard line. And you throw a fade route and it goes out of bounds. And I'm saying to myself, if you just get under center and quarterback sneak it twice, you're in the end zone. If you run the football up the middle twice, you are in the end zone. And you get really cute about it. And it's the same thing with the New Orleans Saints, Jeff. They bring in Taysom Hill inside the 10. He runs, gets 2 yards, 3 yards. Next play, 2 yards, 3 yards. Then you have Teddy Bridgewater back out of the timeout. And you run some triplet set to the left where he overthrows the wide receiver and it goes out of bounds. And I just shake my head saying the percentages are there to just run the football and power it in. And you're running all these whack formations and doing nonsense stuff. Just run the football, man. Just run.
Donnie, you know what play I'm sick of in the NFL?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm sick of. I'm tired of the quarterback immediately turning and throwing to the receiver. That never works.
It doesn't work for the Eagles, but works for everybody against.
No, it doesn't really work for any NFL team. It works in college because those athletes are not as good and those kids can make people miss. You don't make people miss in the NFL. It doesn't happen. Okay, stop doing that play. Stop doing some of these stupid fucking play calls. Chiefs lose yesterday, Donnie, 2 in a row. I'll tell you right now, Donnie, Chiefs better make sure they win their division because if they don't, they will not make the playoffs like I told you all. The defense stinks. I don't know what people don't get about that. The red zone numbers are down, as I just said. Sammy Watkins is out. Mahomes looks kind of like he's on no legs at this point. It's just crazy. He's getting lucky that he's not out for the year with some of these injuries that it looks like he gets from time to time. Was it that crazy that I said they don't make the playoffs? Was it that crazy? Crazy. Gabe Morency thought I was an alien with the way I was talking. There's no way that's going to happen. That's what he told me. They're going to make the playoffs. What are you, nuts? You know,
they're going to win but the problem is like that division that they're in. They're going to win that division.
Are they though? The Raiders are 3-2.
Raiders, they're not going to hold up.
Denver's playing.
Denver's not going to hold up though.
I'm just saying they better hope they win their division.
No, you're right. That is the preface, but they're going to. Nobody is like that second horse that's like, I'm ready to take this division. That's where the downfall is going to be.
I'll say it before and I'll say it again. The Chiefs are like that beautiful girl you pick up at the bar, you get home, and it happens too early.
Oh, and Big Red's going to spend that capital. They'll make some nasty moves, but they're not healthy wide receiver. Because once they get completely healthy, like you saw Tyreek Hill fresh off of a couple week absence, making absolutely outrageous plays. They're going to get cooking out there. They'll find a healthy running back and settle in and get moving.
I guess we'll see. But they lose 2 in a row. That Texans team, Donnie, is really good, man. Yeah, they are really good. Well. Yep. They're starting to look like a real contender. What else do we have here? Cowboys lose, Donnie. Nice to see. You have the Eagles get blown out, but hey, it all worked out because the Cowboys lost. Listen, the Eagles aren't getting into the playoffs through the wild card. It's not going to happen. If they don't win this division, they're not getting into the playoffs. And next week, Donnie, becomes and I don't like Elliot Shore-Parks, who's a reporter for the Eagles, but he had a great tweet yesterday. He mentioned that this is the biggest game in Carson Wentz's career. I couldn't agree more. Carson has not had a lot of help this year. They need – I don't know what's wrong with Deshaun Jackson. Time to man up a little bit.
He's old. When you're one thing we used to rip Joe Banner about in Philadelphia is if you were over 30, you didn't get a contract on the Eagles. And, you got to make exceptions. But it just keeps playing itself out. Jason Peters, Darren Sproles, D-Jacks.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm about done with Peters. I'm about sick of that ensemble. I mean, does he not get injured every week, Donnie?
Every game. He's really there as a he's going to go to the Hall of Fame. We love the guy. He's great in the locker room. And when he plays, he's still really good. Well, but we're already conditioned to it's funny because the announcers never catch up to us in Philadelphia. Oh, Peters out on the sideline, second quarter, and like it used to be like, oh my God, damn it! Now it's just like, well, yeah, that's what happened. So
listen, I vilified the Eagles for taking Andre Dillard in the first round. Obviously, now I see that it's a pretty important position because the guy never plays Peters. So, who, by the way, Dillard played quite well yesterday.
He did. He got ran over on the one play, but dude, you're going to get your comeuppance in the NFL. But for the whole game where you watch it, you didn't really hear much about what's under pressure and getting sacked. He had a good game, man. He did.
Eagles 3-point dogs headed into Dallas next week. Yeah. Dallas is, hey, surprisingly, Donnie's starting to play real teams and lose. I don't really know what the excuse was.
It wasn't a real team yesterday. Yeah, still
right. Because outside of Darnold, who was half dead if he gets hit, they aren't very good. But you hate to see that, Donnie. You hate to see the Cowboys lose to the Jets. But the Eagles are 3-point underdogs. So basically, you're saying on a neutral field to pick them. I agree 100%. I'll ask you, Donnie, if you're going to throw the balls to the wall at any game, because Donnie, let's ask ourselves: does any other games really matter?
No, yeah, exactly. The Eagles have this tough stretch, which you're going through right now. They still play New England, but they get them at home. They play Seattle at home. But I keep factoring, the Eagles have 5 games to end the season that they're going to run the table and go 5-0. They just have to hang around, and this is the game you need to win because in case you drop one at Buffalo or down the line, you have that 5 spot at the end of the year. You can tack on 5 straight easy victories with how their schedule sets up. But you're right, you have to. But I just take a deep breath because I say to myself, all right, Amari Cooper gets knocked out of the game. I hope he's out next week, but it was only a thigh injury, thigh bruise. He should be back. And I say, let's get ramped up. Let's get excited. Let's hope Carson Wentz has a good game, which he usually does always have a good game. But am I just tired of Dak? The 2 tackles get back for, Dallas this week. Let's just say they do. Dak has time and he's throwing deep, and Amari Cooper's 7 yards behind the DB. And it's why do we even get excited? Because I know it comes down to if I can't sack your quarterback, everybody's wide open, or it's a flag. It's hard.
I hear you. Eagles were called for nothing for a lot yesterday, and the Vikings were called
0. Huge monster plays in the ball game. None of them went the Eagles' way on penalties. None.
But yeah, great big game. It's the game of the season. You win this game, you're sitting in the driver's seat.
Yeah, you'll probably win the division. This is a big game for winning the division. You're right. So
now you got to go down and take care of business. And this is a game where Carson Wentz needs to play like an MVP. One more thing, Donnie, before we move on. Are the Seattle are the San Francisco 49ers the best team in the NFL? How do you not make the case?
Yeah, I mean, they're really up there. You want to talk about, and I liked it even better yesterday because the angle going in all week, which, sharp bettors loved, and I actually agreed with it to a tendency. Rams, the extra time off. But more than that, you had two really good play callers coming into the game, but you're saying this, all right, now both your tackles are out, your Swiss Army knife's out, banged up, and your Kittle might not even start the football game, saying, well, let's see what happens. Shanahan was really good on offense, did what he needed to do, but the defense has been absolutely off the hook. And I got to say, if they get healthy and add on, they're going to be tough to beat, man. Like, who else? They remind me almost like a version, like a better, it's crazy to say, like a better version of the Saints right now. Because if Jimmy Garoppolo plays, the speed they have and the front seven defense, they're going to be really good, man.
I wish someone would go dig it up where the big men on campus said they'd win the division. Doesn't seem like anyone's looking to dig it up. Looks like we don't want to give them any credit. Maybe you have to go dig that one up myself.
Yep. They took it down on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, they did. They knew that they didn't want me to get any credit for it. I will say, Donnie, though, for as good as the Niners are, Richard Sherman's a fucking dickhead, isn't he?
He's always been that. He's always been that.
He's so he's just a douche. Like, I feel like he'd be very hateable in real life.
He's easily, yeah.
He kind of reminds me of Donnie. I feel like he's never wrong. Like, I feel like he's
he's one of those guys that if he's wrong, he won't ever admit it, and he'll counterpoint his wrongness with more wrongness to double down, and then he'll just live with it. Yeah,
he's kind of like that guy in the White House. They're a lot alike. They talk a lot, and they're never wrong, and there's always they're kind of interesting kind of people together.
By the way, Jeff, I got one quick NFL note, which we see it week to week right here, and it's amazing to watch. But there's no way the Ravens can win this way, can they? There's no way. Jeff, he's going to get hurt. Or you can't have a quarterback running 20 times a week.
Speaking of them, I talked, Donnie, about how – and I was irritated because I'd already made a small play early in the week on the Ravens. Yeah. And as the day got here, I thought to myself, well, I just really don't trust that defense. But it's like – I feel like the game's 28-10 and it probably won't matter and they'll be good. But that was a real vile beat on the Ravens. Like,
well, first of all, you get the opening kickoff for a touchdown, so you get 7 right off the bat. And then the only other time they really score is when it really didn't matter. And every time you watch if you weren't watching that game live, which why would you be? Every time you saw like the red zone, the Ravens had the ball and were driving deep in territory, but the game never got like out of reach. And you knew it was coming at the end. It's one of those things we always joke about because I had been the pick six contest, but I didn't bet actually any money on the game itself. But your tweet comes out is so right because how many times, Jeff, does it feel like you're in that same situation on the opposite
never got
side?
It.
Like in the pick six contest, I actually had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which was a bad move altogether. They got blown out in the game. But I'm watching late, like right before I'm about to go in the air. I'm going, oh, my God, look at this. Like I have Jameis Winston at a 9-point game, which you're not going to go for 2 at that point. I'm going to get an easy push out of this. And he throws the interception in the NFL going, that never happens my way. Like, I don't get that break my way.
No. And if you actually do yourself a favor and go back and watch the drive chart for the Bengals on the last possession, they literally converted like 2 3rd and 25. Like,
always, man.
Brutal. Sherman is cool. He's been over
to his house.
Yeah. First, I don't believe that. Second of all, I don't believe that he's a cool guy. Sherman's a dick. You're not going to ever tell me he's not. Maybe he is. I don't know. All right, Donnie, let's kind of move on. Let's get into quickly this preview tonight. Then I got a couple questions for you on the college and NFL fronts. Lions-Packers tonight. Mm-hmm. We've talked about Aaron Rodgers' success at home. His home road splits are quite amazing. But, Donnie, this number continues to sit at 3. I'm seeing some books with even 120 lines on 3. I feel like at some point it's just going to go to 3.5, but it hasn't went to 3.5. Something tells me this is a trap that the Lions – and look, I've talked with the Lions. I love the Lions. They're probably my favorite team outside of the Eagles. I love the way this team's constructed. I love their defense. I love Stafford. I love their receivers. And I think they'll run the ball quite effectively tonight with Kerryon Johnson. They've had some time to prepare. They had a week off. But, Donnie, I want to see this inactive report because – this defensive line looks really suspect tonight for Detroit. I want to see who's actually playing because if you can't get a pass rush on Aaron Rodgers, you're going to get carved up.
Yeah, because, I mean, coming into the game, just looking at some stats here, pass rush for the Detroit Lions defense ranked 23rd in the NFL, 12th in coverage. Their run defense is 24th, but they are a really good tackling team, Jeff, coming in at 8th. So they can hold up. But the one thing that's interesting, like if you would say right now, and you look at these two games, because I did it yesterday on a couple games, which I'm going to try to expand this a little bit more because it seemed to help. Like even in the Saints game versus the Jaguars, Saints were the better team and had an unbelievable defense. But the question was yesterday that I kept posing was, like, take out like what you know about the Jaguars and Saints. Who had the better defense coming into the game this year in the NFL? It was the New Orleans Saints. When you look at this ball game, Jeff, like Detroit's offense is better than the Green Bay Packers. So, well, wait, how could that possibly be? You have to take those past, transgressions out of what you think, because when we're looking at what they like to do, get in on the ground. They have a really good run blocking scheme for the Detroit Lions. And what do we know about the Packers? You can lean on that football team and run it. So I think if they commit to the ground game, it's going to open up some passing lanes. But just looking at the offense alone, even though, Donnie, they went in and they handled Dallas last week. Yeah, I understand that. But when you're matching up against a team rested and ready in conference, in division, some of those things do matter, where sometimes you just got to buck up and play football.
Keep in mind also, big loss in the secondary for the Green Bay Packers. Savage not going to play tonight. It looks like he's out. That's a big loss. Not having him back there is definitely a concern. Their center looks like he's going to play, so the offensive line looks good. But I got some concerns about the Packers tonight, Donnie. Look, if I think I can get some good, injury and active news, I'm going to take Detroit. I think.
Yeah, you want Slay? I mean, there's big guys, even like Darius Slay. I mean, there's some big injury news type information that you would like Hawkinson to see if he's going to go tonight. Just adds that extra dimension to tight end. There is some big inactives, but Jeff, you should never look at the inactives.
You have to. You have to look to the inactives. I like Detroit. I'll be interested in them here. I'm likely going to be on them as well. I'm not buying this pass rush. It's good, again, but I don't think it's sustainable. And I think the Lions are legit. They're another team, Donnie. If they can go out and add something, they could be a team to start thinking about. The offensive line is pretty good. It's not great. It's pretty good. You love what they have at receiver. I mean, Donnie, do they have one of the most underrated receiving corps in the league? You have to agree.
Lions, sure, yeah. What's the interesting part about it, too, is they sort of broke it up as well, because if you would have came in this year, and I don't like this guy one bit, but he really seemed to work well in Detroit. If you kept these three together, like Golden Tate, Jones, and Galladay, that was a nice three-man weave combo out there at wide receiver. It's a shame they haven't. I know Amendola's in there. He's going to try to get those, but imagine if you had like a legitimate like third down weapon over the middle to combat those two wideouts on the opposite sides. They would be really good. Maybe they'll improve that at the deadline.
If Slay plays tonight, I will be on the Lions.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. Settle down, Devin Rivera. Listen, Raven, we don't like him. I mean, that's great he was at your house. Cool. I mean, Kim Kardashian was at my house last night. How about that? Good for you, though. That's great. I'm not calling you a liar. I was kidding around. All right, Donnie, let's get into some cold hard questions before we go today. I got a couple ones I want to get to you here. I want to pick your brain on some NFL stuff, and then I got a future to share with all of you that all of you need to stick around for. If you put $10 on this future, you can win a lot. So let's get to that in just a minute. But Donnie, let me get these two, or actually, I have 5 questions for you here. One of them is college football related, and I want to talk about it, and I want to see what your thoughts are on it. I don't know Gmail seems like it takes fucking forever anymore to load. I mean, come on, man. Thanks for watching the show, everybody. We really appreciate it. You all are very kind, and we thank you for checking this show out every day. Donnie, 5 questions here. I got one for you. First one. Will the Eagles make a move for a corner, and if so, who?
The Eagles will make a move for a cornerback, Jeff, and it's going to be one of those moves where they sign a guy from like their practice squad.
So they won't make a legitimate move.
They will put the two major, like, they're not going to get a first of all, Xavier Howard's been awful for the Miami Dolphins this year. I don't think they're going to make a move. I'm talking like the big, like maybe available cornerbacks. Harris, which we don't know if he's going to move on from Denver, Jalen Ramsey, the Xavier Howards, and then what's it, Tremaine Johnson from the Jets. Like the big name guys you might be able to get, they're not going to get any of them.
What about Artie Burns?
Forget about Artie Burns. Artie Burns can be thrown back there. I mean, he's Cravon LeBlanc part 2.
Number 2. Give me your top 5 teams in the NFL in order right now.
Not at the schedule. Hold on. I got a schedule.
In order.
Let me go. Hold on.
You can start with 5. You can start with 1. It's all your call.
Let me get the standings real quick. All right. So let's go. I'm still going New England. It's not really about, season long. They just continue to win. They'll continue to win. I'm still going to keep them at number 1, just like a number 1 team in college football. Until they lose, I'm not knocking them down a couple peg lists. Nobody from the AFC South. I'm starting to move Houston up, but that's the word I'm looking for. Coaching staff still can't get over. New Orleans, if New Orleans gets Drew Brees back and he's healthy and his arm doesn't have attrition, they're number 2. It's pretty clear. An unbelievable defense. They'll get healthy on offense. Even if they get their wide receiving core back together, nobody's going to be able to beat the New Orleans Saints in the NFC. San Francisco is going to come in 3rd for me at that point because I still need to see a couple more. Seattle, 4th seed, and then the 5th seed, we can round it out with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think once they get underway and get their stuff together, still in 1st place at 4-2, but that would be my top 5.
I don't disagree. I think they're all very good answers. Someone says the Packers. Packers aren't a top 5 team.
You see what the Saints are doing? I mean, you want to talk about it? Like everybody bitches and moans, like, oh, injuries. Look what the Saints are doing is incredible right now. He says, thank God Sean Payton never was able to get loose at Dallas, man. Jesus.
No, they're doing a great job. Really impressive. Donnie, the season ended today. Who would be in the Super Bowl?
If the season ended today, who would be in the Super Bowl? Like if the playoffs started right now. Yeah, like we're not waiting for injuries. Like your team is who you are right now.
Yep.
I got to tell you, to be honest to God, Jeff, Seattle Seahawks would be in the Super Bowl for the NFC right now. Honest to God. As the teams break out right now. AFC-wise, I would still go with New England Patriots.
Seattle, New England.
I think Seattle would be in the Super Bowl. Right now, nothing looking forward to the rest of the season, just right now.
All right, Donnie, I don't want you to look this up. I just want you to think about it. Mm-hmm. What are the best and worst logos in the NFL? I'll give you the worst. Can I give you the worst?
Go.
The Bears.
What, the C?
It's terrible.
That's not that bad.
It is. It's really bad. Really bad.
I got to take a look at some teams real quick here.
The Bears logo's shitty. It's crap.
I'm telling you, right? Like I'll get knocked for like some old school stuff. Hey, Steelers.
Browns is bad also.
Steelers. Put the fucking logo on both sides of your helmet. How about we start with that?
That sucks. Browns is bad. I mean, the logo's not even brown.
The Browns had one of the all-time great uniforms and completely fucked it up.
That stupid fucking star. That's bad too. Let me give you the best, Donnie. I think the best logo in the NFL is the Panthers. I love that logo.
That's cool. Yeah,
I like that color scheme. All the cats, the lion.
I like the cool, like that's because we're Eagle fans. Like the Eagles helmet is really cool with the wings. Cool. Like even the Vikings and the Rams, like like the horns and stuff like I like stuff like that as opposed to let's just say the hey, we're the Giants. Let's put like NY on our helmet. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, stupid. None of it makes sense. I like Tampa. That's a cool must.
Raiders got a great logo. Raiders got a cool logo, man.
The pirate ones, sure.
Yeah. Dolphins had an all-time uniform, and they fucked up their uniform. So,
yeah, I still think though the Jags and the Panthers have the best uniforms.
The Jags, actually, I got to cut. The Jags do have nicer uniforms. When they were running the two-tone helmets, it was just so bush league whack. I'm glad they got rid of that.
Still though, the old uniforms they were like that blue color. I forget what kind of blue it is, but when they had like Fred Taylor, those.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, the Fred Taylor, who was it? David Garrard, Maurice Jones-Drew. Yep.
Or even before those teams, where they had like
Jimmy Smith,
Tony Baselli, like
way back in the day. Yeah.
Well. All right, last one, Donnie. College football, full swing. We're through 7 weeks. Mm-hmm. I actually have a 2-part question. They're 2 different questions. First of all, is Joe Burrow the best pro prospect? I got to tell you, I think he is.
No. I would still go Lawrence. Lawrence has tools that are going to work in the NFL.
He can't come out this year.
Oh, I thought you just meant in like college, like has a project.
No, Burrow is fucking on fire, dude. That guy's killing it. He's got like 2,200 yards in 7 games and like 25 touchdowns. That kid's – I'll tell you what, man, LSU, them and Ohio State, 2 best teams in the country, man. Really.
Now the LSU, it feels like we've been waiting our whole life for LSU and a quarterback, and it looks like they finally got it.
Donnie looks pretty bad right now. He said Ed Orgeron sucked.
He's hey, the offense is big. You're only as good as the guys you hire, so I got to give him some credit on that. I do.
But then again, is it really him
No, it's not him at all. It's not him at all, which is great. Which is great, though, because he knows what's Ed Orgeron's strength. I'm going to walk in your fucking living room of your parents, and you're coming to LSU because they're going to love me, and you're going to love me, and then I'm going to give you the best coach and pay for my coaching staff to give you the tools you need to win. It's a genius setup by them.
I still love the scene in Blindside when he walks into the house.
Ole Miss. They have his Ole Miss gear on back then?
Yeah. And the mom asked him about the little kid, like the kid that he's the young kid in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Michael's brother or whatever.
Yeah.
Little guy. And he goes, well, I'll tell you, he really puts a little pep in the gumbo, I'll tell you.
Usually you look at the coaches, like they took Saban or whoever it is, Les Miles on the sidelines, like, all right, get this off the screen. But when you get to Ed Orgeron, he's big, he's smiley, he's happy, and he's giving you a sound bite, like we're ready to play some football right here. Does anybody enjoy more of like I'm on the sideline with my boys than that guy? Anybody?
I mean, I think he's great. I think he's really funny. I love listening to him talk. Did you hear that soundbite he had the other night?
Yeah, before the game, right?
Oh, yeah, it's what people that go dog.
And by the way, and like as much as we like Ed to start football games, Jeff, if I see one more time Penn State football, and I watch it 24/7, it was great because the 24/7 series on HBO is awesome. But do you need your head football coach, Jeff, locking arms with your players, walking out through the gates to the state? When did that start? When did that actually start?
Yeah.
You think you're playing football. When did that start?
Also, like, she seems like a nice girl and everything, but the Maria Taylor experience needs to end.
Why? She's
awful. Like, just like her like demeanor is just so lame. We get it. You love all the football players you hang out with. Like, we get it. Like, I'm just so sick of like that stupid corny shit that they do. Like her and Holly Rogue at all these games. Like, nobody cares. Like, nobody cares you're eating fucking clam chowder with Chase Vinovich. No one cares that you're like hanging out with Grant. Like, and it's weird because like she almost kind of flirts with like the play. It's kind of weird. Like, I don't know. I find it odd, like, personally, but I'm good with her. Now she's doing NBA coverage.
There you go. Yep.
I mean, what is with these networks? They like throw the same people on like all day.
I don't think they care. I just don't think. It's a good one.
Give me more Rosgold and Woody. That's what I want to see.
There you go. Yeah, she was actually on. Was she on Get Up the other day? What was she hosting? She was hosting one of those shows.
First Take.
Yeah, she was. Yep. Mm-hmm.
For that another idiot, Molly Querim, who, by the way, is an Albanian. Yeah, she's Albanian. And
there you go. Yeah, why are you ripping on your Albanian fella?
Because she's annoying. What's going on, everybody? Shut up.
Don't talk to me about Jalen Rose.
Yeah, stop. Oh, that's the best too, when they're on the same show and they always act like they're not married. Like, we all know you're married. Her voice is brutal, dude. Like, she's got the worst voice in sports. It's not close. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Rosgold is a treat. What a treat she is. What a beautiful woman, man. Wow. All right, last question, Donnie. You got 3 teams here.
Yes.
Who's the worst fan base? And most delusional, deluded fan base.
So we're not grading it on passion. We're grading on delusion.
No.
Not the whole or the whole package.
The whole package. Actually.
All right, the whole package. Okay. Delusional, crazy. Go ahead.
Texas, Tennessee, Michigan. Michigan's bad, dude.
Well, see, I have to preface it on like the football lines. Like, you have passion at you have passion at all 3 schools, right? But I'm actually going to go the most delusional. But
it's not passion if you like aren't good and you're just delusional.
No, but I'm saying they all 3 of them have passion. But if I'm going to be like the most delusional, that think they're God's like gift on this earth, it's the Texas Longhorns. Because for 50 years, like, you hear the stories like, when you're a boy in Texas, like, you just dream to be a Texas Longhorn. And like for years it worked, because when Mac Brown was there, they were such a big institution that, like, Mac, if you remember the stories coming out, like back when Texas was, the reassert, before Texas has been back for the last like 15 years, I'm talking way back. Like, Texas, Jeff, would have the recruiting set up in the state of Texas. And they would offer you, like, let's just say your junior year in high school. And they had the ability to go in your house and be like, the best player in the state of Texas, here's your offer sheet right here. Sign it and be a part of us. If you don't sign it, we're not even going to offer you a scholarship. And I'm going to the number 2 running back in the state who will be here with us. You can't do that. But they still think it's those day and ages where you just own everything. And we have the Longhorn, like, network and everybody. Nobody gives a shit about Texas, to be honest with you. Nobody. Who outside of Texas thinks, like, oh my God, we got to play Texas this weekend?
They've had one good year in each sport.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, the fact that they have their own network is laughable.
The basketball team sucks. I mean, everything. That school has so much money and so much power. And look what they actually get out of that. Nothing. What do they get out of it?
All right, Donnie, I got to say this, and I might offend a lot of people with this next statement, including you.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid. I'm good with it. If you root for a fucking college team and you have no connections there at all, you're lame. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't understand
the point of it. What's the behind this stuff? Like what? Like saying what? Like, give me an example.
Stupid. It doesn't make any sense. What do you root for them for? You have no connection to them. You don't live near there. You don't have. If they win, how does that change your life at all? Like if you're an Eagles fan, Donnie, for instance, and you live in, if you live on 3rd and Shunk and you're an Eagles fan, it's like, okay, you live in the shadow of the stadium. It's part of your life. Or let's say you live in South Jersey like you, or you live in Lancaster like me. We're within an hour of the city or less. We have family connections. But
you have to. There has to be like an extenuating circumstance behind that, because you're right. If you live in Philadelphia, listen. If
I like Colorado football, that's fucking lame. I have no.
But when you say no connect, but who is your connection? Like to me, like I like the Hurricanes and have liked them since the early '80s, and obviously a lot of my family was down there, but not even that. Like they were good and it was on, and everybody around me, like Notre Dame or Penn State. Like I knew where I grew up, I'm supposed to be an Eagles fan, and I love every minute of it. I'm supposed to be a Flyers fan. I love every minute of it. Sixers fan and a Phillies fan. But when it got to, because I love football is ingrained in me. So, who's my like Temple wasn't even a blip on the radar where they could get like 10,000 people at home games. Rutgers was like a Division III football team. There was nobody to root for.
If you have some sort of, I'm talking about I'm talking about people like Ryan D'Amico who have no connection at all to Michigan.
What's the circumstance though? Like he's younger than me too, so I don't know. Like, are you supposed to like Penn State? Like to me, like honestly, Penn State is like a 6-hour drive for me. It's not like it's my area. You know what I mean?
If you live in a state, that's fine. But like if you live in Pennsylvania and you root for like Texas Tech.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Yeah, because there's like college is a little bit different than pros. Like pros, you're supposed to be on point where you're at. But you're right about that. Like there's some people that live in Miami and are like Florida State fans. You're like, what? I don't get it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fucking lame. All right, Donnie. Listen, I'm going to save the college basketball for tomorrow. We got to go. I got to do a radio call here. I forgot about. You all have a great day. Thanks for watching, Donnie. Good show today. By the way, Chris says that DeVito on Syracuse is the #1 quarterback coming out.
He might be the best DJ.
Like Chris, listen.
DJ at the Shore. I don't know.
Chris, listen.
DJ Tommy DeVito.
Chris, Louis DeVito, who was great, by the way. Chris, stop smoking crack, man. It's not good for you. It'll fucking ruin you. Stop doing it.
I thought that offense was going to revolutionize things at Syracuse, Jeff. No?
Yeah, right. All right, we're out of here. You all have a great day. Donnie, we're leaning Lions tonight.
Yeah, I am leaning the Lions tonight. I don't care. Oh, you can't beat the Packers there. It just matches up well. There's a good match. I think it'd be a worst case scenario. You get a good football game tonight.
Either way, we'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll get into Yankees, Astros tomorrow as well. And we'll look forward to week 8 in college football, week 7 in the NFL. We'll talk a little college hoops. Donnie, we got to start talking college hoops. I need you to team me up on some stuff tomorrow. We'll get into that.
As soon as the first aircraft carrier game hits, Jeff, we're in, baby.
There are none of those. But either way, November 5th, first day. We'll start getting into that stuff too. You all have a great day. Thanks for watching. I'm the Big Man on Campus. He's Donnie Rightside. Follow him on Twitter at RightsideVP. You can find me on Twitter at Jeff Nadeau. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye-bye.